Oh, look at that. Discriminating against someone based on their hair is now illegal.
Who just said, I don't like this.
What?
This,
People loving it?
no, that's not it.
That's not people hitting the heart button?
Mm-mm.
What is it?
That's something else. They got those memes or whatever.
What's it say? It say something inside the heart.
It says cute.
They say I'm cute.
No, that's not. That's, hey everybody. Hold on,
Hey,
y'all. We gotta
everybody.
fix this. Let me
They
hang it.
saying I'm cute. What's wrong with that?
They're not saying you cute.
I promise you.
Okay, I promise you that they're not.
Oh, you said I'm not cute?
Wait a minute, y'all. Let me end this
Excuse me?
real quick.
Are you saying I'm not beautiful?
I'm not saying it at all.
Tell me you love me.
I do
I
love you.
need affirmation now.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, we need to pray.
I need to speak to producers, please. What is
Okay.
it? Dr. Keisha?
No, I think Keisha hit something by accident when she.
Oh, so people finding me cute was an accident.
Oh my.
Can
Just
you
put it
speak
down
like-
a little bit.
Can you speak like over?
Put the phone down just a little bit because it's heavier up at the top, which causes it to lean. There you go.
Can you speak like over?
I speak life over you.
Thank you.
Lord bless. This head decline.
What's up, Apostle? You
Hi,
two have,
Dad.
you two have too much fun.
I know, Dad. We about to
What's up,
get down
bro?
to brass knuckles today.
Hey, Sister Vera. Hey, Sister Natasha.
Hey.
Apostle Coleman, my man.
It's my daddy.
Bring it, bring it, bring
That's
it.
my daddy.
Hey, man, look, just drive down here right now and preach something real quick.
Dad, I'm gonna call you when we get off. Next Tuesday or the following Tuesday?
Either.
I think it was the following
We
Tuesday.
said the following Tuesday,
So the following Tuesday, what's the date?
the 5th.
The 5th, March the 5th. If you could come down, we're gonna do a round table. And
Hey, Fatima.
talk about some things. Hey. And talk about some things. You,
We're trying
Dr. Will,
so I get Pastor Craig.
Pastor Craig.
My man, my mellow, quite a nice fellow.
So what, let's, Daddy, I'll call you.
I'll call you too, Apostle. I'll probably call you quicker.
You
than
don't call my daddy.
Think I can?
You get a little too close for comfort.
Wow, let's examine that.
Don't get hurt.
Now it's getting violent. He said, hey, baby. And then he said, love you, my brother. Okay, I think that looks good. So he
Okay.
said, hey to you. He said, he loves me.
I know.
Apostle,
he
love
loves-
you too, bro. Yeah.
That's my daddy. So let's talk about this
We
subject.
fellow soldiers. We out on these lines.
Bring it in. Let's talk about this subject today.
Yes.
So my brother and I were having a conversation, and let me just say this: I love the experiences that my brother has because he turns them into a teach moment, which helps us all.
Because if I don't teach you, there's only one other side.
Right.
Right. Either I'm gonna be Dr. Will or I'm gonna be that dude from North Philly. So it ain't a
don't-
teachable moment. It's
We don't want you to be that dude from North
gonna be
Philly.
a reachable moment.
It's a reachable moment. So we were having a conversation, and I said to him, I said, this ties into what I wanted to talk about today.
Yes.
And what I wanted to talk about today is don't overlook the wounded around you. And Dr. Mike Murdoch said it like this. He said, well, concerning this subject, he said, focus often blinds you. The downside of focus often blinds you because we are so obsessed with our calling that we miss or we don't see those around us that are wounded, that are hurting, that are whatever, that have challenges. We forget that. We forget, I think sometimes we forget, not y'all,
But we know.
but we know people.
And I know most of the people that y'all know who like that.
But we know people
Yeah.
that we forget, the reason why, God really, what was your purpose? What was your design? You know what scripture comes to mind, and I
Hey,
don't know
Elder
if I
Debbie.
wrote it down. Hey, Elder
Love
Debbie.
you.
Where it talks about us being taking care of the orphan and the widow. I think we forget that. I think we forget that. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
I think at times in the church,
Right.
we overlook it.
Yeah, we're so busy serving, we forget to serve.
That
So
is,
busy serving, we forget
wait,
to serve.
hold on.
It reminds me when I was
I
a
need a
kid.
pen. I forgot my pen for the takeaway.
Oh, no.
I forgot my
Come
pen.
on, if we had a producer in the house.
If our producer was,
Oh, if we only had a producer in the house.
I need a pen,
Oh,
producer.
I feel my helper coming. Can I get a witness?
Ah.
It reminds me of when I was a child, right? And so I was at this church that will remain nameless, because they're still there and still functioning. They had, you know, if you from back in the day, Baptist church, after Sunday service, there was always the kitchen open, right? So you could smell the fried chicken wafting through the sanctuary toward the end of the sermon. I remember being young, and after one Sunday, I had some money, which was rare in my youth. I had some money in my pocket, and I ran downstairs because I was going to get a chicken sandwich. And I went up to the window, and I got shooed away in the most rude way by the woman that ran the kitchen. Notice I said ran the kitchen, like it was her, like the kitchen was her situation, like it was what defined her. And so she brushed me off, and I'm like, I got money I will pay for a chicken sandwich. Boy, get away from here. Wait till these grown-ups. And I'm saying to myself, I got grown-up money. You know what I mean? How my money adolescent, but they money grown. You know, and it was crazy because those kind of things, even in my youth, started to paint the picture of how people can get so caught up, not just in titles, but so caught up in their callings, or so caught up in the process of serving, like Dr. Murdoch said, you know, become so laser focused that all of a sudden you forget the rest of the canvas. You forget what you're doing. You forget who you're serving. You forget that you're supposed to be serving because you're so busy trying to be the servant that you forget the people that you're serving.
How? Because.
Hey, Sister Churchwell.
Hey. I see that so often.
Hey, Joanne Rosati. Classy.
I see that so often in the body of Christ. So I'm going to give you another example. When somebody comes in the church with pants on.
Right.
And they want to immediately go in the closet and get a skirt and put on you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
When you come in the church and you don't look like me.
Mm-hmm. And come into any culturalized institution and not look like them. You know what I mean? Right. So I keep coming back to the whole culture thing, right?
Yes.
How we culturalize people. Because like that's something that churches don't really have a focus on. That other, like, you know, Fortune 500s and big organizations absolutely focus on.
Right.
Like you go to Google, right? They'll look at you strange if you walk in and you're wearing a suit. Because the culture of the place is casual dress. Is, you know, you show up to do the work, be creative, be free. It's a free space. Like there are no offices, no cubicles. They got beanbag chairs around, and those, you know, just open area workspaces so people feel free and are encouraged to collaborate with each other. So if we're just sitting in open space, I'm more freer to say to Keisha, hey, you know, did you get that new PowerPoint upgrade? Did you do that? You know, I'm thinking about working on it. How's it working for you? It's an open environment as opposed to cubicles with high walls, and I don't know what you're doing, you know what I'm doing. You know, so that culturalization, when you walk into a culture and you don't look like the culture, then the culture will discriminate against you. And we do that at church.
I was about to ask
at work, in our communities, absolutely.
So are we not free in the church to collab with our fellow brothers and sisters?
Or not fellow brothers and sisters.
Or not fellow brothers and sisters.
Right, because like take the connotation of be not unequally yoked,
Dr. Wood, come on.
right?
I-
Take
I'm
the
not- I need to take
connotation
notes.
because we run with that. We run and create doctrine with that. And funny enough, I've heard Apostle Coleman teach about this, right? And one of the things that I thought was remarkable when I was listening to him teach about this is he was making he began by making the point of the two having a common goal, the two having commonality that pointed them towards a certain place, and then for that cause not being unequally yoked, right? So if you're coming together for kingdom, then it's important you not be unequally yoked, right? But does that mean that outside of that work, that if you're a Christian and you encounter somebody who's Muslim, then there should not be a kindred or brotherhood there? If you encounter somebody who's Jewish, there should not be a brotherhood there? If you encounter someone who's atheist, should there not be some kind of a brotherhood there? A collective understanding of humanity there? Can I not care for you? Can I not respect you and show you love because we don't believe the same thing?
Wow.
Now, it may mean that we don't share in the same work together, because
Okay.
as a therapist, like I wouldn't necessarily hire a painter to come in and do therapy,
Right.
Because that's not their thing. But if a painter comes in, I can respect them for being a painter. I can understand, and I can take time to understand what it means to be a painter. We can talk about that. We could talk about his experience as a painter and my experience as a therapist, and how those two things can interact and what we can share and find about each other. But that gets lost in our culturalization of saying, oh, only therapists come here. No, you a what? You a painter? Nope. Sorry. And definitely don't sit on the front row of my therapy service. Don't, no. We reserve that for therapists that only have more than 3 years experience. You can't sit on the front row. We reserve that for the VIP. So inside our culture, we create classism, right?
Wait a minute.
That came fast, didn't it? That did come fast.
I need a takeaway or something.
I'll back up. That did come fast. But we have to be careful and mindful as leaders that as we're looking at the culture of our institutions, to not inject classism in it. So avoid classism in your culture.
Takeaway number one.
Avoid classism. I thought it was number 2. I thought we hit one.
I wasn't able to get it.
Dr. Keisha put it on there. No, she said she didn't, but she did. She's not always, but she's knocking paintings down.
So tell us what classism is, because I hear like people like, what is classism?
Okay.
I think the
Don't
first
overlook the wounded around you.
That's what we talk about
You
today.
just gonna call that the
You
title?
said about serving. Don't.
Right, same thing. Don't be so focused on serving that you forget to serve.
Right. Don't be
So focused on
focused
service that you forget to serve. I think we miss out on souls.
service.
Sister Vera says, I think we miss out on souls because we look at the outside instead of the inside. Yes, classism. You know, so we categorize based on, those book covers, right? We categorize based on those book covers, and then we institutionalize those categories. And this is how we do it. Here's something that's damaging for churches that they probably didn't know for years and years and years, because it's just something that happened, right? Men's Day and Women's Day. Right? It's an automatic classification of someone based on their gender, or at least the gender that they identify themselves as, right? And then placing a label on it, and then telling in that classification, you cannot at this time and place be a part of this. So here is in the presentation of the church, here's a moment where we're telling a group of people, you cannot participate because you do not match up with this classification.
All right, so let me ask this question.
Ask away.
Is it important to, because I start thinking about a avoid classism.
Mm-hmm.
I start thinking about why the church may have moved in that direction to have Men's Day and Women's Day.
Sister Vera said, yes, church closed.
I,
Yes, church closed.
I start thinking about
Pastor Jeffrey Goodson, what's up, my brother?
I start thinking about the purpose behind that.
Right.
And I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yes, be honest.
I don't know what the purpose was.
Right.
I will say this, that when you have men and women, there's different issues, there's different challenges, right? And sometimes you want to be able to just focus in on what that is, and celebrate those women, you know, or celebrate those men, speak directly to those issues. You know what I'm saying? So they may do that in that forum. You know what I'm saying? They may not have what my dad has, you know, which is he gathers the men and he speaks to the men. You know what I mean? Lord have mercy, Jesus. I just forgot my whole.
Oh, you was going somewhere too. It's like you lost it like that.
Transforming the minds of men.
You trying to come up with the name
couldn't
of
think
it.
of the first
I would have
word.
told you.
Transforming the minds of men, right?
It's hard getting old, y'all.
Whatever. But so he
Pray for that.
he does that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you know
Hey, Apostle. Apostle, I want to ask you a question.
Did you
Have
just
you
come
ever?
on?
I did. Have you ever? You all right? It was for the cause. Have you ever put out there, no women allowed at Transforming the Minds of Men? I'm curious. I don't know. Have you done it? I mean, you may not have had to if the name
There
of it
was
was
one
Transforming the
time.
Minds.
There was one time, if I'm not mistaken, and I gotta remember back that I believe, Dad, correct me if I'm wrong, where he invited women.
I just asked him to say it.
Because that's my
I
dad.
just want to say when he does post on here, no, that's because I asked him, not because you didn't went behind me and asked to try to
Be
make
quiet.
it seem like his response was gonna be because of you.
No, that's not.
Apostle, when you put it, can you be like Dr. Will?
But
yes,
there
I
are,
have.
but
Or
no,
I haven't.
but listen, there in that setting,
Mm-hmm.
because it was a Saturday, it wasn't a Men's Day.
Mm-hmm.
In that type of setting, I think it is appropriate to have just men. Sometimes men don't want to talk, or they're not open, or don't want to be open if their wives are around or any other woman is around, because there are some sensitive issues that they need to deal with and to talk about, and the only person that can give them that is the person who invites them to come, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
Just like
but,
women.
But here's my psychological response to that, right? Because that becomes, does the means then perpetuate the stereotype? So is it that men, and I want you guys to hear me, and please weigh in, right? And I want you to dig deep when I say this. Is it that men do not discuss certain issues around women because we've created the environment where men can't discuss certain things around women? And do we perpetuate that by continuing to separate men from women to talk about those certain things? You understand what I'm saying? So as we create things, as we create culturalized environments, right, we can then promote that culture to a place where that becomes our norm. And then we have backup for it.
So we've created classism
Right.
in the church.
We create classism. We create classism. She said, you two, Mr. Geraldine said, you two are funny. You know, I hope that you guys get a chance to laugh. You know, we talk about such serious things sometimes.
We do.
And this is a serious issue because this is going to kind of touch to the heart and hallmark of a lot of people.
Right.
But we do create classism, you know, and if you go back, as I like to do, get you to the epistemology, get you the origin, get you the beginning of it all, right? At what point does God separate Adam and Eve? After Eve is made and he brings Eve to Adam, at what point does he then separate them? Exactly. Does he ever say, Adam, you come and worship me over here, and Eve will do it over there. And when you present to me, present without your wife present. And now I need to speak to you, Adam, without her. Or now I need to speak to you, Eve, without him. From the moment he brings them together, he says, for this reason, because I've made her bone of your bone and flesh of your flesh, shall the two become one. And nothing shall come between you, right? For this reason, and this is God being now prophetic or sharing prophecy in his delivery, where he says, and a man will leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife. This is God prophesying, letting people know that because of the bond then between husband and wife, Adam was going to leave God. That Adam would choose to leave God, would choose his wife over being in the garden. Because remember, Eve ate out of being tricked. Adam was not tricked. Adam understood, my wife damned herself, right? She destroyed it. She ate and brought damnation. And now I'm going to choose to join her instead of stay righteous and stay with God. Because Adam could have been like, woman, you jacked up. You done. Matter of fact, I'm thinking he's going to kick you out, and I might be able to convince him to make me another one. Instead, he chose her. So I'm saying that's kind of my point of how we create environments that now say women need there are things women need to talk about away from men, and there are things men need to talk about away from women, right? We create that environment, and then we start to create stereotypes and situations that will promote that environment until it becomes our norm. And doing that, we tear apart and we tear down the whole concept so we create, a concept of gender that then becomes open to whatever.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe that started in the garden? Because when when Eve...
Thank you, Sister Geraldine. She said I'd bring up a good point.
When Eve ate of the tree...
She already said I'm right.
Whatever. When Eve ate of the tree.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And she didn't really eat of the tree, but I hear what you're going. We're not going to get that point for the sake of this conversation. Go ahead.
Fruit.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, got you.
I'm just, because of the word of God, right?
Yeah.
When she ate.
Right. When she ate the fruit.
It separated, and Adam chose, right? Just based on what you said. It separated them from God.
Okay.
Because now, as the word of God says, we can just go to it. Now I'm naked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm exposed.
I'm vulnerable.
I'm open.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So is that where this separation, I'll say pre-classism, is that where it started?
Yeah, I mean, I like where you're going, because absolutely, like in a sense, it is our God sight, right? It's our godly ability, our God sight that allows us to even classify, right, in and of itself. Remember, that was one of the first jobs, one of the first governing jobs God gave to man and woman.
Right.
Classify all of the animals and the fish and the birds, right? So it's our God sight, it's our God-like selves to do that, right? What happens in it though is our sin nature jumps in. What's up, Pastor Al? Sin nature jumps in, right, and takes what was God-given and perverts it into something that has to be diminished, something that now one. So God said, name all of them, right? Classify the animals and name them and all, right? But he never said and make one more important than the other.
Wow.
He never said and then have one be higher than the other. He never said include birds and leave fish out of it. That was never. See, that's where our sinful nature comes in, right? I like this one because it's prettier. Right? I don't like this one because it's dark. And we do it to ourselves, and we do it both on an individual social level, and we do it at an institutionalized level. You know, and that classism is damaging and destroying for the sense of culture and kingdom.
Right. I don't know why you're hearing an echo, Pastor Al. It might be on your end because we're in the same place that we always are every week. So I'm not sure. Dr. Will, you have brought up some stuff, and I'm telling you, one of the things that I always say to you is that you challenge my thought pattern, or you challenge, hey, my
Hey.
sister, that's my
What's
sister.
up, Dr. Eunice?
That's Dr. Bashaw. You challenge the way I think, or the way I had thought.
Good.
How I grew up.
Because I challenge the way I think and how I grew up.
Right. Well, we kind of
Yeah.
grew up in the same place.
Kinda.
Kind of like around the same.
When you say
place.
kind of, literally.
Right, I know.
Right.
But so my
That's good though. I mean, that's what we need
my
to be
brain
doing.
is like
Right.
my brain is like on OM to the G right now.
To the G.
Yes.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
It's something we have to consider. See, so Christ shows up, right, thousands of years ago. And he enters into a society that's already really separated classes, right? Not just rich and poor, but male and female, right? And Jewish and Gentile, right? And
Right.
notice how many times he challenges that. Over and over, he challenges Jews and Gentiles. I didn't just come for the Jews, I came for the Gentiles too, right? Rich and poor, right? You know what I mean? Give to Caesar what's Caesar, give to God what's God. Care for the poor people, right? He didn't really come for the rich people, came for the poor people. Could a rich man enter into heaven? It's like a camel going through the eye of a needle, right? Men and women, right? He's sitting with women, he's sitting down with women. Mary's washing his feet with her hair, right? He's probably married to her at this point.
Lord.
But I'm just saying, right? Because he was a rabbi, he was a Jewish rabbi, and those Jewish rabbis were already married by the time they were, post-pubescent, right? That's the only way in Jewish culture you became a rabbi, right? And Mary's in public having an open conversation with him, questioning him in front of men, which is something that you were only allowed to do if it was your wife. But anyway, that's not my point. My point is, here's Christ,
You got to mess people up.
here's Christ, they got to argue with me.
Challenging.
They can argue with the word, right? They can argue, look at the Bible and then look at culture and look at tradition and you decide for yourself. But my point is, here is Christ trying his best to tear down classism, to tear down the lines between the separation that we created of man, woman, rich, poor, black, white, religion, Jewish, Gentile, right? Trying to tear it down. And we have to question as we serve people, as we're interacting with people, as we say we're doing kingdom, as we say we're doing love and we're sharing love and being globally minded, how much we perpetuate classism, how much we promote classism. We have to, point 3, we have to purpose ourselves to truly be global. We have to purpose ourselves to truly be global. Stop calling your church the black church. Because that immediately tells white people you have no place here. It's a black church. It tells white people, it informs them. Even if you let them in, even if you let them join and you say, well, we never restrict white people from joining, you are informing them and saying this is a black church. You're informing them that this is not really the place for you. Which is not kingdom, which is not global. Right? In your business and organization, stop saying we're millennial only. Because then you're going to miss out on some of the wisdom and the experience of people who've been doing this 30 years. Stop failing to hire millennials because you're set in your ways. Because then you're going to miss out on innovation and the newness of what's going on. You're going to miss out on technological advances. You're going to miss out on new standards and practices that are coming. Because these people just came out of college. They understand what the current practices and standards are for your industry. You've been doing it 30 years, but you 24 years removed from college. You know what I'm saying? We just destroy ourselves. We tear ourselves down and we stop. We kind of...
Slacking out.
Right. We stop our ability to advance from lack of knowledge, and we stop our lack of knowledge. We stop our lack of knowledge by stopping inclusion, by stopping being global minded. You know, if we can't include each other, and if there's not really a sense of inclusion, and inclusion, I hate saying diversity and inclusion because diversity comes along with inclusion. If you're truly inclusive, then you become diverse. You know, we have to be able to stop and resist the urge to not be inclusive. That usher today that tried to stop me from videotaping. Oh, I'm gonna read what people saying too. I didn't look down to see people were typing. That usher today that tried to stop me from videotaping these
Hey,
brothers who were up singing a tribute to the person who had passed away. Right. What I saw was 8 brothers standing up, not ashamed to stand in front of a crowd and sing, not afraid to show emotion, right? Because someone were crying. And I'm looking at it, this is a beautiful moment. I'm in a public space videotaping, right? But this person who was supposed to be serving me instead infringes upon my ability to do what not only is a natural thing, but also my constitutional right. I could videotape anybody in public space. Anything I can see, I can videotape.
Right.
You know? But again, she's Pastor Starks, what up? Hey, Sister Dawn. You know, and because she's unknowledgeable, she's offended me. You know? I mean, and that's just a matter of not taking the steps to be inclusive.
Wow.
Be global. Stop talking kingdom and acting like kingdom only exists at your church. I'm so sick of that now. I'm sick of people holding kingdom inside of their situation. Kingdom cannot exist in your singular location. It just can't. Like the whole concept of kingdom is so much bigger. It's global.
Right.
Right? Even the telling of the kingdom coming down, descending from heaven and resting on the 4 corners of the earth shows just how big kingdom is.
Wow.
It's bigger than your church. It's bigger than your situation. I don't have the 100% knowledge. You don't have 100% knowledge. Let's act accordingly. Be global, share, interact.
Why don't we do that? Why
expand.
Why don't we do that? Why are
Let's ask some people.
Why don't we do that?
Pastor Al said, hey brother, what do you think about vestments? Pastor Starks said, hey Pastor Starks. Sister Geraldine says, Dr. Will, I'm looking for young people to help me with developing the homeless shelter, and put the phone number there. Okay, there you go. There's your advertisement. You put the phone number there. Any young people there that want to help out, jump on. Good, say that. Pastor Al, what do you think about vestments, man? You on here? Put it up there, brother. Oh, who did we miss? How many times he blessed or did an unscheduled miracle? Yeah, right? Well, yeah. And most of them were probably unscheduled miracles. You know, because he just walking around trying to get his teeth on. You know, and it says often in scripture, as people heard he was there, they came. You know, as
Right.
people heard he was in the area, they came. People heard he's walking down the street. Get the bed out. Get Uncle Joe. He in the bed. Bring the whole bed.
But we don't really do that much now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Because our culture says what? What's our culture say to do?
I don't know,
What's our culture say to do? Our
Worry
culture
about
said,
myself?
boom. See, you got there, like you can fight it for a second,
I
right?
know.
Like we can fight it for a second because it's shameful. It's shameful to say, right? But the truth is, our culture says, look out for number one.
That's
Look out for self.
That's honestly, when I start thinking about, and this is just me, but when I start thinking about the responsibility that God has given me right? To
Mhm.
be able to speak life.
Mm-hmm.
I start thinking about, and this is before I even, you know, before I even got to where I am today, because
Mhm.
I've grown, because I started understanding
Bro.
Jesus.
Uh-huh.
You understand what I'm saying? I started studying Him.
Mm-hmm.
How many people, though, have, like you said today, I'm never coming back. How
Right,
many people
Oh yeah. I
have
guarantee.
done that?
I
and-
can
and-
guarantee you.
The blood is going to be,
Right. I can guarantee you it's happening. I can guarantee you it's frequent. With the way that I have experienced church throughout the course of my life, because I have had my eyes open like this for several years, more years than several, long, long time. I can recall some of the largest institutions of religious centers, not just Christian, discriminating and forcefully, not just rebuking, but forcefully resisting and restraining and withholding based on doctrinal based on doctrinal foolishness. You got scared there, didn't you? I ain't gonna get us kicked off the air. I'm just saying. Y'all read what I was saying, right? I recall, I ain't gonna say their name because they still functioning. I went to a church in West Philadelphia one time and I was feeling really down, like I was at the bottom. My heart was broken, I was emotionally distraught. And the usher stood there and held the door closed, big glass door. They got glass doors, you walk in, it's glass. You walk into the lobby and it's glass from one side of the church to the other. They got double doors, and then like those doors will even open up if you want them
and
to.
you're not,
I'm not saying where it is.
go ahead.
I went over and the usher was standing there with the back to the door with her hands behind her holding the door closed because they were praying. And here I was needing to get into prayer. But she would not let me in because they were praying. I'm needing prayer. She wouldn't let me in because they were praying. And I'm always trying to, Sister Geraldine, I'm always trying to help people, and sometimes they hurt you. I'm trying to lift them up. And they try to destroy me because people are about themselves. Yeah, that happens, sis. That's true. And listen, you got to be clear on what it is you do and why it is you do what you do. Okay? That way, when people personally hurt you, you can understand that their offense is not always a personal one, but sometimes it's just that they don't have the vision and drive to care for things the way that you do and care about what you care about at the same level, right? Your vision is your vision. It'll never be somebody else's vision. So nobody's ever going to be as bought in to your vision as you are. So you have to approach it that way. You have to understand when other people turn their back on you or don't help you the way that you need to be helped. That it's not always because they're out to get you, but they're just never going to be bought in the way that you are. One of your jobs as a leader is to be able to share your vision effectively and create a culture of buy-in amongst your leaders that it will trickle down into your organization.
Right.
Okay? So get your vision clear, make sure it's stated, and make sure that you work really hard to create a culture in your organization that is about inclusion, is about buy-in, and is focused on the vision. All right? All right.
They told Jesus it was a sin to heal on the Sabbath day, so people haven't changed much. Yeah, but here's the thing.
He just so people haven't changed much.
But here's the thing,
1,000 years of discrimination.
because we have a slogan that's coming out on our T-shirts very soon. Be the change, comma, period. Meaning there
Be the
is
change, comma, period.
be
That
the
is
change,
grammatically crazy.
comma,
Right.
period.
Where's the period?
It's in all capital letters,
Oh, the word.
the word.
Oh, be the change, comma, and then the word period.
Yes,
Okay, then that's okay.
yes.
Because other than that, I was gonna kind of disown it. I'm
But
gonna be doing live at 6.
Can we probably had this conversation before, but I'm telling you, my heart is heavy right now. It really is, because I want to see this change take place. Dr. Al shouldn't have to make this statement that people haven't changed much.
Right.
When does change take place for real?
Mm-hmm.
When do we,
Mm-hmm.
as believers,
Mm-hmm. So we're inciting change now.
Yes.
Live at 5. Right? What needs to happen is I need for you all to embrace this change and embrace that you see the need for change, and then carry this change into your places. Carry them into your jobs, carry them into your institutions, carry them into your houses of worship. With the Pastor Al's out there, with the Elder Debbie's out there. There are a number of pastors and leaders, Sister Geraldine, who's running your organization. Carry this forward into these places, and then we have started creating change. The only time that we don't see change is when we resist change. So you don't have to do anything to change. The only thing people do is resist change, because change is inevitable. Change happens, change will come. Change will happen if all you do is sit still. Everything around you will change. Dust will fall, and the table will get dusty around you. You'll age. Your hair will change colors. Your vision will start to fail. The lights will blow out. You know what I mean? Just because time goes by. Change will happen around you. There's nothing you have to do to really create change. What you have to do is to learn the tools to not resist change.
You might have to do 3 more
We don't have time for
3 more
points.
takeaways.
Well,
How do you
we should get
not
together next
resist
Tuesday
change?
and do this.
We
should do
gonna
this
talk
every
about change?
We should get together on here every week,
What you mean every week?
like every Tuesday at 5.
See, this is the change that needs to take place, period.
We miss some people. Sister Vera said yes to Sabbath. The real one, we need sound teaching so we do better. The real one. Oh, I see what you're saying. I'm gonna fix your grammar, Sister Vera, because I know your word, your spelling. It's not all. No, I'm just messing. I was trying to turn that into one of our word with friends blow ups. But I think you destroyed me on that last game, so I'm not really gonna say nothing. So she said yes to Sabbath, the real one. We need sound teaching so we do better. Yes. Pastor Al said, even called him the devil, talking about Jesus, when he cast out demons. I got that before. Yeah, right. What devil would cast out devils? Which was kind of his response, right? That's foolishness. I'm not gonna say it again.
Don't.
That got you nervous. You had that look in your eye like you hit me.
I probably would have.
Yeah, I know it. I remember it well. Except here go the difference. I ain't no kid no more. I ain't afraid to get hit. I've been hit before. Oh. Pastor Al also said when people stop worrying about titles and the power that they think they have and not afraid of change, when people realize that God is greater than the building or a book, the key is love. Excuse my English. As you know, Sister Vera, I was just messing with you. Anybody can excuse your English. You perfect. You awesome, sister. I was trying to mess with you about you wearing me out on Words with Friends. I was trying to find a little quip, but it didn't happen.
The key is love.
But Pastor Al, yeah, man, the key is love and global love, inclusive love. Inclusive love.
Dr. Will,
like if we can't get inclusive love in our head, then you don't really understand God.
We don't have it in our head because not us,
but we know
people.
Because our name?
No.
Somebody asked me, how come I don't feel that love in my church? I said, because your leader ain't got that love in them. So I told him you should probably lead that place. Because your leader, or try to create change with your leadership. Adrian the Pentunes.
That's A. Hey, A.
Yes, indeed. Inclusive love, right. How do you not have inclusive? If you don't have inclusive love, I promise you, you don't really understand God.
And you need to pin that in the poem. This girl.
Put that in the poem.
This girl's poems is.
And then put it on here and blow it up.
Mm-hmm.
Truth. Can I name Pastor Al? Say, can I name
No, Dr. Al.
No, but I can't
Pastor
stop
Al.
you. But I can't stop you.
No.
Freedom of the press. You got freedom to put whatever you want to put. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of her.
Pastor Al.
No, bark.
Don't
I mean,
you start naming nobody.
She a lot of bite too, but she mostly bark. But she it's like 60-40. I'm saying, you always know what a few people I know that got an imbalance with bark and bite. It's disturbing too.
Get you.
I wish I could say she's only bark, but
listen, you guys have gotta.
Right?
I know you can't see this really good.
Can't see this.
But you guys have gotta purchase this book. Gotta purchase this book. It is Sharp Winds Against Tall Buildings.
An anthology for change.
Anthology.
Yeah. It's an anthology for change.
Explain the anthology.
It's a whole gumbo pot of change. It is a compilation. It is a gathering of writings. It's a gathering of scholarly thought. It's a gathering of information about change.
I always stop in my tracks when I'm trying to understand something.
Yes.
So when I'm reading this, I'm like, wait, what does that really mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So like if you
I have my book.
If you're hip into like jazz, like you'll get like the anthology of Miles Davis, which are like, you know, the greatest collection, the ultimate collection of the collaborative works of Miles Davis. So this is an anthology of change where we put together a lot of scholarly thoughts, a lot of scholarly information. Not just, this is not something, so I don't write books about my own perspective and my own thoughts and opinions.
Right.
Right. This is a gathering of writing of both academia and learned experience, right? That talks about change, it talks about resisting change, preparing for change, the inevitability of change, how to change, why to change, where to change, and it directs you to those scholarly, other scholarly articles and thoughts about, you know, what's going on in the world with change. How do we change, right? I've had a church, you know, hypothetically say I've had a church for 15 years and I don't know how to change. I don't know how to stop my deacons from whatevering, right? Mm-hmm. There's thoughts on there about how to create change, how to promote change, how to inspire change. What are we doing here?
Pastor Al.
I got a wicked box game. I'm never scared. I'm never scared. Let's start with, see, I'm just reading. Let's start with the Reverend.
No.
Doctor. No, we're not doing that. I mean, we doing it sometimes.
Y'all too.
Listen, here's the thing. So
this
sometimes socially we do have to call out where change is
I'm
necessary.
all for it.
Yeah.
I
only don't do it because I am a visiting speaker. Can I have my book? Y'all see her just trying to vic me? Yeah, you got like 2 copies of this, don't you?
No, I only have one.
Oh. I'm a visitor in these grounds. And so, you know, that's why I try to behave myself, because, you know,
I behave myself too.
If this was Will's Live at 5.
No, you
Would nobody be watching? Would nobody be watching?
Calling out a whole bunch of people.
And
honestly,
I found that other name out today, and
so,
I would say her name and beloved saint.
So.
What I didn't say.
So.
James.
Here's where, and I keep calling him Dr.
Al.
Dr. Al. I totally agree, because I believe that this is, if I can go here, I believe that this is the season, the time where God is exposing.
Knock the lies out your mouth.
I believe that in lieu of what's happening in our country, I believe that. I believe people are gonna be exposed, things are gonna be coming, and if you know anything about being exposed, you know it's not pretty. It's not pretty, but it's all right. Then he laughing.
And look, I said, I'm not ashamed to say, you know, my experience today was at Beloved St. John Baptist Church up in North Philly. I kind of wanted to get back to their pastor because I hope that their pastor will then speak to the ushers, you know what I'm saying? Or come on here and let's have a conversation, open dialogue about it. I'm not saying your church is horrible. I'm saying I had a horrible experience there. If it gets to them, and listen, y'all don't be so petty and small-minded to say, you know what I mean, that their church is horrible because of what happened with the ushers. You know what I'm saying? It happens in a lot of organizations. It happens in a lot of houses of worship. You know, and creating change is not about identifying villains, and it's not about bullying people.
Say that.
It's about seeing when an environment needs to change and try to affect that environment to change for the most positive way that we can. So me actually naming people and naming places is because I want to challenge leadership. I want people to come and have open dialogue and have discussions and start to open up and say, okay, yeah, we should change that. You know, because I guarantee you that pastor would not want somebody to have that experience.
Right. I was going to say, sometimes I don't think pastors really know.
Right. Yeah, right. He would have no way of knowing.
Right.
He have no way of knowing. Except I plan on writing him a letter. Because I know.
Right.
You know, I plan on writing him a letter. But this is the thing. You write it in love, right? And part of being global minded also is understanding that I have shortcomings, you have shortcomings, they got shortcomings, right? I don't say it from a place of I'm great and you're not. I'm right and you're wrong. You know what I mean? Inclusion is about I also understand my role in the problems and my need to do corrections as well as other people's need to do corrections.
That's good.
That's global. That's inclusive.
That's good. That's good. All right, y'all. This has been great today. Thank you, everybody, for coming on. This is wonderful.
Man, I feel like God had me by a leash, saying, "Not yet, son. One day soon, He's going to be like, get him, and I will." You hang on to it, bro.
I believe that. I believe that. I definitely believe that. I really do. My prayer is that you guys were encouraged today. We started talking about, Lord have mercy, we started talking about don't overlook the wounded around you. And I wanted to talk about the wounded around you, those who are wounded, and how we gotta be the ones that are able to stir up the gifts on the inside of others.
Is there a bomb
In Gilead?
in Gilead?
Yeah. To heal the wounded soul? Yes, absolutely.
I pray that all the bad and evil will be exposed and they repent and change. If they don't repent, the evil can leave. If they don't repent, or maybe you mean if they do repent, the evil can leave the planet. She said if they don't repent, the evil can leave the planet. Yes, and Sister Geraldine, when I make statements like this is me, not you. When I make statements like that, I say, I'm praying that all the bad and evil will be exposed so that we can repent and change. Because when we're saying they can repent and change, means that we don't have any bad or evil, we don't do no bad or evil, that we are without sin. You know, and that's not being inclusive. Be inclusive, and then let's even include ourselves. When we say people have to be right, and people have to fix, and people have to repent, and people have to, rid themselves of our evil and our bad decisions, our poor attitudes, our poor behaviors, our maladaptive behaviors, that means all of us.
Amen.
All of us.
Amen.
Let's all work to be better.
Amen. So, love y'all. We will see you next Tuesday, and then the following Tuesday, we're going to have a round table. It's going to be on and popping. I'm excited. I'll see you guys tomorrow right here with yours truly on Live at 5.